Cheers, Danny. Thanks very much. Good afternoon to you, Joe.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Tired, ready for my bed, but well. Stuart was saying a couple of days ago that this first test is a lottery because of how underprepared you are. Would you go along with that?
I wouldn't say it's a lottery. I think that the most important thing is that over the course of the next couple of days, we do everything we can to ready ourselves, not just physically, but mentally. There's obviously been a very different build up to this series and to this test match in particular. I just think more than anything, it's really important that mentally we're as prepared as we can be with the little cricket and match cricket that we've had coming into it. But I think we've planned very well for this. We've given ourselves the best possible chance with the opportunities we've had to play outside and to train outside. And we just have to be full of confidence and trust all of the work that we've done leading into it.
And over the next month, there'll obviously be a lot of focus on Pat. How long did it take you, do you think, before you felt truly comfortable as a captain? I mean, I know in your very first innings as a captain, you made 190, but in terms of feeling comfortable making the big decisions, reading the game?
From my point of view, I mean, I'm sure it's different for everyone, but from my point of view, it did take quite a while to sort of find out my own way. And throughout my tenure, there's always been different challenges to overcome and to manage. And I suppose you just sort of try and learn from those experiences and learn through the different things that you have to deal with along the way, whether that be on the field or off it. So in that respect, it's very difficult to really put a time on it. But obviously got a lot of experience behind myself now, and as I say, very much looking forward to getting our teeth into the series now.
Why do you think so few fast bowlers are captains?
I'd say the amount of cricket that we play now and the workload that is on, or the scheduling that's there for international players, especially if they're 3 format, it's very difficult to constantly stay on the field. I think that might be one of the challenges of it. Doesn't necessarily mean that tactically or from a personality point of view they're not suited to the job. I just think that's just one of the unfortunate things of how the game is at the moment.
Just one final one from me, Joe. I appreciate you're fully in England mode at the moment, but expecting Darren Gough to be confirmed as Director of Cricket at Yorkshire a bit later on today, was that a decision you were consulted about or involved in? He's clearly got a lot on his in tray when he gets into the job.
I've not heard anything on that as to now. I think that's news to me. So if that is the case, I've obviously spent time with Darren, and he's a good man, and I'm sure he'll be looking to put his stamp on things at the club.
Thanks, Joe. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to, I think, John Norman from TalkSport. Might have a couple, and then we'll head to the Australian media.
Yeah, Joe, just picking up from what Jamie said, I know it's not official yet. It might be news to you, but Goughy, it looks like he's going to be taking over as Director of Cricket at Yorkshire. I was just wondering what characteristics do you think and abilities and skills, a guy that you know well, just wondering what you feel he could bring to the role if it turns out to be officially announced in the next 24 hours or so.
Yeah, I think from my experiences of spending time with Goughy, he's obviously very passionate and knowledgeable about the game. His love for it is clear for everyone to see, and for the club as well. I'm sure that he'll be wanting to bring all of that to the fore, and all of his experience and achievements within the game, pass that knowledge on to the group. If it is that he's the man to take over.
You mentioned a few days ago that when you get back to England, you were going to reach out to Lord Patel. You wanted to help essentially with the situation at Yorkshire. I take it if Goughy was to give you a call, you saw his name flash up and ask you to assist, you'd be more than happy to do so.
Absolutely, I would. Yeah, as I say, I want to do everything I can to help move the club forward, and welcome any of those phone calls. I've already reached out to Lord Patel, and if Goughy was to call, absolutely, I would take that phone call.
Thank you.
Okay, one each from Will Macpherson and Rory Dullard, and then we'll get on to the Australian media.
Hi, Joe. I'm sure you're not going to tell us your team, but I just wondered if you could confirm whether any firm decisions have been made about your top six. Will the top three be the same as it was against at the end of the series against India? And have you decided on Ollie Pope versus Johnny Bairstow at number 6?
We've not gone into specifics as yet. Obviously, we're close to it, but I don't feel comfortable revealing anything at this stage just now.
And then Rory, please.
Joe, I wonder if you could just tell us what you reckon it'll be like going out at the Gabba without that supportive England group that's usually, I know it's usually pretty hostile over here, but there is that little Barmy Army section usually to give you a bit of encouragement. Is it gonna sort of bond the team together in adversity a bit more, being sort of 11 guys against the world?
It's going to have to be. I think one thing that it's hard to know because we'll have never experienced it before. Even the guys that have been here before will have never experienced them not being there. And we always really appreciate all the support we have whenever we play away from home. It's phenomenal, and I'm sure that the Brisbane Barmies, if you like, they'll come out in force and do everything that they can to support us here at the Gabba. But yeah, it is an opportunity for us to get really tight and to stand up to that, and more than anything is just make sure that it doesn't affect the way that we go about things on the field. We just got to embrace that, enjoy the atmosphere and that sort of arena, and try and thrive off it as much as we can.
Okay, one each going forward. We'll start with Josh McLean and then Dan Bretting.
Thank you very much. Joe, I've just come from the Gabba, very green-looking surface. Have you had to think about what you might do if you win the toss? Surely bowl.
I've not had a look at the pitch yet. We've obviously just got here ourselves, so I'll have another look at it. You can tell that Pat's already put his stamp on things as a fast bowler, as captain of Australia. So we'll have a look if it is green. Let's see how it looks again tomorrow, and obviously on the morning of the game. So I've not got any clear idea on what I want to do at the toss as yet. I'll try and leave that as late as possible.
Okay, let's go to Dan Bretting, please.
G'day, Joe. Just wanted to ask you as a batter in Australia compared, this time around compared to 4 years ago, does the Kookaburra ball feel much different? Like coming onto the bat, how much it's moving? I know Ollie was spoken to the other day and talked about that there might be a bit more lacquer on it. Does it feel different?
I think compared to the other balls that we use around the world, the Kookaburra is slightly different. It's obviously feels like it can go a little bit softer sooner. It doesn't seem to swing around for as long as a Duke ball, for example, and the seam is not as pronounced as an SG or a Duke that you get elsewhere around the world. But I suppose more than anything, you still got to manage the conditions that are in front of you, and I think that's the most important thing is understand the different passages of play that you might be faced with, practice it as best as you can leading into the game and into the series, and make sure you just feel as ready as you can for whatever's thrown at you. And as I said, I've been here previously, and I think from my own experiences, I probably put too much pressure on myself to come out here and have that bumper series, that massive series that everyone dreams of as a touring player here in these conditions. So it'd be just about trying to go about things as I have been over the last year, and not almost over focus on minor details like that, but also at the same time feel ready for the different challenges that playing here presents.
Okay, we'll go through McGlash and Ben Horn.
Thanks, thanks, Danny. Hey, Joe. Have you seen enough from Ben over the last few weeks in Australia that you'll be able to give him as many overs as you'll want, or do you think, given his long layoff, there'll still be a little bit of managing his bowling workload?
I think more than anything, it's really good to just see Ben back involved in the frame of things, and to see him come into the limited game time that we had, and to look as good as he did as well. we always know that when he gets into that game, he'll want to put his mark on it and put his stamp on it. And I think, yes, there'll be an element of managing expectations, and you've got to trust, his experience, and I suppose our whole bowling group, that collectively we can work together to take those wickets. I'm sure Ben will have a big say in that. It's something that we'll definitely be making sure we try and get right throughout the whole series, and in particular this first game.
Thanks, Joe.
Ben and Nick Savage.
Thanks, Danny. Joe, obviously, in any test match, you want to spend as much time out in the middle as you can to put a big total on the board. But as a batting group, do you see the fact that Australia's entire fast bowling attack has just come from T20 cricket and no Test cricket for 12 months as a real opportunity that you can exploit as batters if you can keep them out there for a while?
I think it's a good incentive. I don't think it really changes anything from our side of things. You still always think about what's been successful for teams over here, and it's by batting and making huge totals and using that scoreboard pressure to your advantage. We know that the longer that we keep any side out there, the better it'll suit us moving forward throughout the test match, but also throughout the series as well. So absolutely, it's all part and parcel of playing a 5-match series and playing in these conditions. And as always, we want to make those big first inning scores, which can have a big influence not only on this test match but for the rest of the series as well.
Nick Savage, then Ben Davis, and then we'll finish with Jess Stewart.
Thanks so much, Danny. G'day, Joe. Obviously, Nathan Lyon has a very strong record against left-handed batters. How have your left-handed teammates prepared for that battle in the upcoming series? I guess specifically Ben Stokes as well, who him and Nathan Lyon have had a couple of enthralling battles in the Ashes in the past.
I think as I mentioned, we've tried to plan as very meticulously coming into this series. I think one thing that we have got is from the bowling, their bowling lineup in this first test match is we've got a lot of information on them. They've been together for a long time now. They've played a lot of test matches in these conditions, and it's important that we use that. And whether it be right-handed, left-handed, know how they're likely to operate and make sure we're ready for that. Whether that be left-handed, right-handed, as I say, it doesn't really make too much of a difference, but understanding that you're clear on how you want to score your runs and managing the good balls alongside that.
Okay, Ben Davis, and then with Jess Stewart.
G'day, Joe. Ben again. Mates, Pat Cummins went all in yesterday. He just reeled off his 11. Bang, 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 bang. You're playing a very different hand. Is that the mind games, the psychological warfare, or you seriously don't know which way you're going to go yet?
I'm not into mind games. I'm just not in a position right now to name my team. Fair play that they've announced their 11. It doesn't really concern me or change anything from our perspective. We'll go about our business how we want to, and we'll let you know when we're ready.
And Jess Stewart, the last question, please.
Joe, thanks for chatting. Just wanted to see, we know the Gabba is, I think it's 1986, the last time you guys won here. What makes this venue such a hard venue, especially at the start of the series, to come in and produce a result? And do you fear that in any way, or do you look at it and go, that's a challenge that if we conquer it, it sets us up nicely for the rest of the series?
Well, absolutely would set us up nicely for the rest of the series, and it's a great opportunity. Look at this group of players. Not that long ago, a lot of them were on that South African tour where we came off the back of a very disappointing first test match in Pretoria, went to Cape Town where we'd not won a test match for a long period of time, and off the back of that ended up winning that series through that performance there. So we feel like we've been able to do it elsewhere around the world, and it's a great opportunity for us to come and do it here. Obviously the conditions are slightly different to what we get at home at this venue in particular, with the extra bit of bounce, but we're prepared as best we can for that, and we'll use the next couple of days to make sure we're ready for that as well. And as well as the emotions that surround the first morning of a test match and the first test match here in Australia. If we manage that well, we should give a really good account of ourselves and start well in this series.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.
Thank you.